Hello again. I'm Jim DeLorenzo, the host of Storytelling with a Purpose. I've spent the last 25 years helping people share and shape their stories, from entrepreneurs and executives to athletes and nonprofit leaders. This season, I'm focusing on something that's at the heart of everything I do, media training. But not just the kind that preps you for a tough interview or a TV appearance. I'm talking about media training as a tool for clarity, confidence, and connection. In this episode, I'm hoping to share with you how to find your media role models and how to find ways to present yourself based on some of the things that you see people doing in the media today. I kind of came into this inadvertently in my career. I was a young man who loved The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson back in the day. I started watching it when I was 7 years old because my mother was an insomniac and she made me an insomniac too. And I would stay up and watch Johnny Carson with her every night that he was on. And I just loved Johnny Carson, the way he talked, the way he dressed, the way he acted, the way he spoke. And somehow or another, all those years of watching Johnny Carson on television as a kid, growing up, I began to emulate him, and I wasn't even aware that I was doing that. And at the same time I was emulating him, I was finding a way to craft my own persona, even though I didn't know that's what I was doing until very much later. So I had found my media role model very early in life, even though I didn't know that's who it was. That's what he was. And the moment it became crystal clear to me, the moment I had that moment of clarity that he was my role model, was on a first date with a girl that I met in high school and I wanted to go out with. And we were going out on Christmas Eve and we came back to her house and her mother and her father and her brother. And she sat around the kitchen table and were peppering me with questions. And I was sitting at the table and I was nervous and I was stuttering. And then all of a sudden something kicked in and I started tapping a pen on the desk, on the coffee table, and I'm talking and I'm answering questions and I'm snapping jokes and I'm making eye contact with everybody at the table each time I'm talking to them. And I realized in my head a light bulb went off and I thought, oh my God, I'm doing Johnny Carson. And it's exactly what I was doing. I was taking the approach of, okay, I'm on the Tonight Show and these are my guests and I'm going to ask them questions now. So I started asking them questions about what they were doing and what they were doing for Christmas and things like that. And all of a sudden it became the Tonight Show with Jim DeLorenzo in Teresa's dining room. And that moment of clarity stuck with me over the years. And I hadn't even gotten started working in public relations yet, or at least I didn't know that I was working in public relations yet. But that carried me through my early years in my career. And when I started doing media training for people 25 some years ago, what I found was if I could tell people to find a role model on radio or TV or in a podcast or in a webinar or a trade show or a conference, someone that they see talking in public, if they could follow that role model, someone that they really liked, someone who really made an impact on them, then maybe they could pattern themselves about certain things that that person did or said, or how they acted, or how they dressed. The role models are everywhere these days. The video is everywhere. The access to people and how they present themselves is everywhere. We've become much more aware, especially over the last 10 to 15 years, of our personal brand and our personal image and how we present ourselves. And my media training starts with finding that role model, finding that person who you could emulate, whether it's an influencer, whether it's an anchor person, whether it's an interviewer on a podcast or a video interview show or TikTok videos, anything that you find that you see people presenting themselves every single day. How do they dress? How do they present themselves? How do they talk? Do they stutter? Do they stammer? Do they do a lot of ums and ers? Or do they go very smoothly? And do they stop? And are they thoughtful? And they take a moment to reflect on what they just talked about and had a conversation about and kind of draw attention to the moment and pause and then go on with the next point and really capture your attention and your imagination and your heart and your mind. And you see how these people do this. You see how these people influence you, how these people can inspire you. Those are things that you can pick up and train yourself to do. Go on YouTube, start checking out videos of people being interviewed. Watch Bloomberg Business News on TV or on live stream and see how the business executives and industry analysts present themselves when they're on camera. Listen to podcasts, watch the videos of podcasts, see how people are relaxed, how people react. Look at how Bill Maher handles an interview. He's somebody who I think really channels the Johnny Carson mindset as well. Whether it's real time or his podcast, he has a very interesting manner of presenting himself. You may not always agree with what he says, but you can certainly pick up some style points and some image points from a guy like Bill Maher. I find that there are examples in every area of the media, whether it's a Rick Williams on the local ABC affiliate, how he dresses, how he talks, how he stands in front of the camera. You look at all those things, and you can use those things in your own presentation to make your own image that you can project, that professional and influential and interesting personal brand image that you can develop through media training and finding a media role model to emulate. I'd love to hear who some of your role models are. I shared with you my role model of Johnny Carson. Some of you may never remember who Johnny Carson is or have never known him, or you may not remember him. You can go online and look at some of his videos on YouTube. He's certainly out there now. But I would love to see who you think is a great role model, who you would like to emulate. Feel free to give me a call, 215-266-5943, or drop me an email, jim@jhdenterprises.com. Let's discuss your role models in the media, people who you would love to emulate, to be like, to be similar to, or contrast yourself to. I'd love to hear that from you. I shared my little Johnny Carson's dating story. I hope you could share your story with me. Thank you again.